So, good evening, everybody. I'm glad to be here and be part of this practice period and share a little bit my understanding of Dogen's Dharma this evening. I'd like to ask Kodo if there is a way that I can see the audience in Upaya, if you can switch the camera.
Okay, so Shinzan, if you go to gallery, or do you want
Yes.
to? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So switch it to 4. There we go. Okay. Can you see us?
Okay.
Now?
And is that okay to keep it that way?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yeah, we can
Oh,
see you
okay.
fine. Yeah.
Good. Because I am seeing myself and I'm a little tired to see all the time myself. Okay, so we are here and almost a week we start this practice for practice period. To be honest, I really miss the Upaya. I miss all of you visiting and Upaya in this time of the year, this so beautiful, the fall. And I don't know if last night you have a chance to see the moon. It was a full moon, it was amazing. So, and this talk is going to be related to the moon. So I hope that all of us will go to the moon in this talk. And the title for this talk is A Monkey Grasping for the Moon. A monkey grasping for the moon. What I got this title? I'm gonna share about the Genjō one part, is related with the moon reflecting in the water. And I got it from you might be familiar with a Chinese painting, I guess maybe Zen painting, when there is a monkey hanging out from a branch of a tree and holding with one hand, and then the other hand is trying to reach the moon that is reflecting in a pond or in a lake, and is holding and trying to reach. So that is the picture of the monkey grasping for the moon. And it's a very beautiful analogy of our practice. I think the monkey, I would say that I am the monkey grasping for the moon, try to get enlightenment, try to get enlightened. That is the point. And we say in our introductions to Zen meditation, we say that our mind is like we have monkey mind. What is the monkey mind? Monkey mind is we have too many thoughts and we are just one thought to another and we are thinking all the time. It's like the monkey jumping to one branch to another branch and to another branch. So that's the monkey mind. And so we are sitting, I am sitting, and I am doing that all the time, holding very strong that branch, when also trying to touch the moon, trying to get enlightened, trying to be awake. And then looks like I so far the moon, but it's fascinated because the moon, try to reach the moon in the picture, is the reflection of the moon. So still the moon is still part of this concept of thinking, this awakening still with our thinking, try to be awake. And we have expectations, we have the whole maybe description or illusion or imaginative or idea about what awakening is. So that is our practice. To practice, so we are this monkey. The monkey has to realize there is a reflection of the moon. It's not the moon itself. And Dōgen writes something about it. And that's, in the Genjō Kōan, is a part of it. Paragraph that I'm going to read it and then try to make a comment on what is my understanding on that. And say, Dōgen, Senji, say, gaining enlightenment is like the moon reflecting in the water. The moon does not get wet, nor is the water disturbed. Although it is like light, although its light is extensive and gray, the moon is reflected even in a puddle and an inch across. The whole moon and the whole sky are reflected in a dewdrop in the grass, in one drop of water. Enlightenment does not disturb the person, just as the moon does not disturb the water. A person does not hinder enlightenment, just as a dewdrop does not hinder the moon and the sky. The depth of the drop is the height of the moon. As for the duration of the reflection, you should examine the water's vastness or smallness. And you should discern the brightness or dimness of the heavenly moon. So that's Dōgen, one part of the Genjō Kōan. What is how we can see this experience, reflecting about the experience of awakening, or the experience of enlightenment, or the experience of oneness. So the first part, gaining enlightenment, is like the moon reflecting in the water. The moon doesn't not get wet, nor is the water disturbed. So that's where we're going to struggle all the time with the idea about awakening, the idea of enlightenment, or the idea of realization. So what we are going to experience is the reflection. Or awakening is going to reflect. We cannot pin that experience, but it's going to reflect in our everyday life. That's the Genjō Kōan. That's the whole point of Dōgen pointed out where is the land, or where is the area that we should be practicing. So we should be practicing in our everyday life, in the ordinary, in our ordinary life. Nothing special, nothing transcendental, nothing more esoteric or mystical. It's just ordinary life. The difference is, are we awake or we are not? That's the only difference. And here, gaining enlightenment is like the moon reflecting in the water. The moon does not get wet, and the water, not the water disturbed. So here, for me, the water is the relative world that with all of us we live, for ordinariness, for everyday life, things that we do as a human being, practical things that we do, agreements that we do in the society. That is the water. It doesn't get disturbed. You get awake. The big question is what. So if you can reflect, what? Okay, so you get enlightened. You got it. Okay, what are you gonna do? That's the big question. What are you gonna do? You are gonna stop sitting meditation? You're gonna stop paying taxes? You're gonna stop working? You're gonna stop eating? No. You're gonna continue doing what you are doing. But it might be a little shift. What I would say is gonna be more clarity, more understanding about yourself and life. There's gonna be, I would say there's gonna be less self-centeredness and the way how you live this life. And the other part was, although it is light, is extensive and gray, the moon is reflected even in a puddle and an inch across. So when we have this realization, or we have this awakening, everything gets illuminated. Everything, everything gets illuminated. That's the beautiful the awakening of the Buddha when he woke up and he said, "I and the whole earth and whole beings we attend the way." So when we have this experience, this aha moment, everything is illuminated. What is everything illuminated? Is like we are really conscious about what we are doing in our lives. So we are really aware and be present, like Roshi Jones say, we are showing up into our lives. We are showing up. There is no any filter between the life and myself. There is no this running away from this moment that we are experiencing that maybe we don't like, wherever we are experiencing this moment. There is no anymore this craving or clinging to have a better moment in our lives or to improve our conditioning. They're gonna make us happy. So we are living 100% in single moment. Really, I would say absorbed, really big one with the task that we have in front of us, just taking care one thing to another. So the light is extensively gray, the moon is reflected even in the potted inch across. The whole moon and the whole sky are reflected in a dewdrop in the grass and one drop of water. Saying again, it's just mindfulness. Mindfulness in your everyday life. Really conscious and be aware of what you are doing and every single habit. When we are not away, when we are this monkey hanging from the branch and reaching the illusion, the idea. If you have a chance to see the picture, you see that the monkey cannot reach, it's not touching. When also if he let it go, the branch is gonna get wet. It's gonna swim into the lake or into the pond. And ourselves, we have this idea sometimes over practice. Sometimes we have this, and it's part of the journey. It's part of the journey. Don't take me wrong. So there is, I'm gonna make a little parenthesis here. The what Dōgen talk is really about right here, right now, this moment. But we need to have the seeker mind, the way of seeking mind. There's in our talks, in our first talk that we give, the way of seeking mind, the seeker. We try to find what am I, where I get lost, and the seeker. And then we have to do sessions, we have to do practice period, we have to take precepts, we have to find a teacher, we have to study. All those things are part of our journey. And that is the first part. That is the relative world. And that is the reflection of the moon, to see the moon. But it's not the moon. So we go into this journey. And the end, to understand, and the end of this journey, always the question is, who is the teacher? Who is the real teacher? You will realize it's you. Who got lost? And you realize that you have never have lost. And you start understanding this human being, this human mind. Reflected in a dewdrop, again, is in every simple act. What is fascinating about Zen training in the beginning, Zen training, when we come here to practice, we do our zazen, and we think that only being the zendo, doing the bows, and doing and sitting, and within that is the only practice. And then we drop our practice or mindfulness, we drop after just we stand up. For me, and I do drop is just to be aware how just you put your shoes when you get into the zendo. That's the do drop. How you really aware when you place your shoes and the zendo, or when you finish your meal and you clean after your bowl. That's it. That is to see the moon and I do drop. There is not this dichotomy. The practice is only Wednesday evenings or Saturdays mornings. No, practice is 24/7. In the end, that's what we realize, especially when we go into a practice period. That's what we call practice periods, 24/7. You are in this rhythm to realize that there is no separation. The samu is important. Resting is important. Eating is important. All these things that we are doing and our everyday life and practice period are important. So enlightenment does not disturb in the person, just as the moon does not disturb the water. When I started this practice, I had huge idea. The attaining enlightenment, because I was really driving towards that. And I was young. I started when I was 24, full of energy, and really tried to stop my thoughts. I wanted just to stop my thinking and driving with the awakening. And I had this idea that if I had this awakening, everything is going to resolve. They're not going to have any more trouble. So I just get married. So welcome to life. And so anyway, I had this illusion, this idea about awakening, that it's going to resolve my problems. It was going to be immune to suffering. It took me many, many, many years to see what Dōgen tried to teach us, to see that the way is right here, right now. Here is the gate, and you can escape from this gate, from this threshold that we call now. Or you enter, or you postpone it, or you just push it away. Or you enter and really to be immersed, to be wet by this now and living your life 100%, or to have idea that you are living your life. Until finally, but before I go into this, well, I'm gonna go there in the next one, next part. But until finally start listening to the teacher, reading the books, right now, right here, just this. Everyday life is the way of the Buddha. Everyday life, ordinary man. The awakening is the ordinary man. So to coming back to really be, like we said, the hands on hand, wherever you are facing, to show up and to show up and to show up and to show up. And understanding what are the teachings here, understanding the Four Noble Truths, understanding that as a human beings, we are going to face suffering. But at the same time, as a good practice, we can have or change that relationship towards suffering. A person does not hinder enlightenment, just as a dewdrop does not hinder the moon and the sky. This is our challenge as a practitioners. And it's really, I would say, is the path of the Bodhisattva. We are very conditioned. I have recognition. I have acknowledgement, and which is important, no? But the way how we live this life, always we are looking for that kind of reward or this kind of recognition. You know, we create our profile in this society, and I am this, I am that. And we come to this practice, and that condition is still running very underwater, I would say, you know, underground, but still running that conditioning to recognize. And also, when we have this realization, that experience, we want to be recognized. We want to be say, oh yeah, I am. But this enlightenment doesn't belong to anybody. You cannot own it. It doesn't have anything to do with you, I would say. That's what Dōgen and the Zen master or the ancestors say. Everybody has the Buddha nature. Everybody is aware. And that we're struggling. And we had to learn. We had to learn. It's part of our journey, our meditation practice, and our whole journey. If you are doing Zen, to learn how to let it go. To let it go everything. And that's in the Diamond Sutra talking about this, to understand the non-self. There is no reference point. When Dōgen talks is just, it is, period. That's it. That's it. Or doesn't. And we, because it's our nature, like human, we want to pin it. So a dewdrop does not hinder the moon and the sky. Here, the last part is something very interesting, and then I would say this is very important as a practitioner to understand. When he say the depth of the drop is the height of the moon. As for the duration of the reflection, you should examine the water's vastness or smallness, and you should discern the brightness or dimness of the heavenly moon. So all of us, we had completely different karma. We had completely different background, and we come with completely different reasons to do this practice. At some point in that level, we are different. But as soon we do the Zen, all of us, we are Buddhas. It doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. It doesn't matter what you are seeking. No. Just in that moment, everybody is the same. I would say it's kind of plain field. It's just neutral. And here, the awakening, what is so interesting is awakening is awakening. It doesn't matter I will put the quotations, your depth or your awakening. Awakening is awakening. What I mean by that? Imagine that you have a room that is completely dark, and you light a match, get the matches and light on. With just that match, there is light in the room. A little darkness disappears. It doesn't matter. So you can have your phone and put the flashlight on your phone, and there is light. Or you can turn the light on and big light bulb, and there is a light. But light is light. Awakening is awakening. When we have that, there is no depth or small or big. It's just it is. But here, the thing is that we cannot pin it, we cannot hold it. So we cultivate it through the repetition of this practice. So what with this metaphor of the dark room, if you have match, you might see a flashlight next to the chair and you can have more light, or you can see a little bit more. And that is what Dōgen is talking about, the draw is the height of the moon, or the reflection. You examine the water's vastness or smallness, and you should discern the brightness of the meat. So here for me, when people, so you want to see who is awake or who is enlightened, just watch how live their lives, how they live their lives. And somebody a few years ago asked me, what does it mean, how can I know if a person is awake or something like that, enlightenment? And then I say, people that are awake or are enlightened doesn't count harm. Doesn't count harm. Ahimsa. And somebody who's enlightened doesn't cause harm to himself, doesn't cause harm to others. And there is a deep compassion. This compassion comes from this connection and this oneness, this understanding of oneness, what we call in Zen. And that's very important. Recently, somebody I have just to end. I have Monday I have introduction to Zen practice, to Zen meditation, and somebody was asking me that he was reading a lot about Zen, and he was asking me that all the Zen books, they say just sitting, just ascend, and then nothing else. And then he said, how can it be possible that just doing Zazen, you fix everything, no? Or what is the compassion, or how you improve the world? It's just focus on your breath and watching your breath, and that's it. That's what you need. And then I say, yes, that's what you need. And then I told him, I said, whatever I say to you right now, I'm not going to convince you, And then I asked him, how long have you been sitting? And he said, just one day. I said, okay, keep sitting, and later we can talk. And I would say that's the magic of this practice. The practice or the power of Zazen. Even Dōgen talk about the power of Zazen, or this practice. But Zazen that he talks, like he said, is not transcendent. It's not about transcending something, or avoiding something, or achieving something. It's really to learn say it again, to learn how to be present 100%. Basically, it's how you show up to this moment as it is, how you embrace it right now as it is, without this dualistic view, I like it or not like it. And through this, I will call between quotation, exercise or doing this meditation practice, because we are start learning and training the mind, understanding the mind, understanding our heart, start manifesting in our everyday life, in our everyday life. And the power of Zazen is that you don't have to worry about try to change yourself or try to create good habits. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Just continue sitting and watching your mind, and the wisdom that is gonna emerge or come from that practice is gonna tell you what to do and what not to do. The discernment, and that is what Dōgen say. You should discern the brightness or dimness of the heavenly moon. You see this clarity in your everyday life. What is this Genjō? I think I would say this Genjō, the actualizing the fundamental point. What is this fundamental point? What is the point? What is the point of this? Relatives to understand this human mind, this human being, having this existence, this living existence here. And when I was reading and reflecting about what I was gonna share to you, there is something very important that we do in our Zazen and instructions to Zazen. And sometimes people take for granted, or people think that there is no important. And it is to do Zazen with your eyes open. Some instructions are your eyes half closed, half open, looking down and your chin in. And I receive many questions. Why we keep our eyes open? There are many meditation practices. All of them that are valid, and many of them that are with the eyes closed. And I think the majority of the people, when enter to meditation, naturally they will do that, to sit and to have the eyes closed. Why we have that eyes half open, half closed? Because for me, what is to really realize this Genjō is to really learn how awakened mind looks like, so to speak. Why? Because in Zen we say everyday life is the way. So when you get out from the cushion, you are already with your eyes open. You leave this world with your eyes open. You don't leave this world with your eyes closed. When we do Zazen with the eyes closed, we are checking out. We are somewhere. I don't know where. And when we come to this reality, to this moment, it takes so much time to do the transition, what we call mindfulness. Because we're checking out and coming to this world. And we never leave this reality this way. So to have the eyes open is to really let the light come in and to start getting used to how your waking mind goes to everyday life, everyday tasks, when you are really concentrated, when you are really mindful. An instant to keep your eyes closed is going to take you more time to that transition. So this is all the what I have. And thank you. Thank you for listening to me. And I hope this is helpful to you and inspire. Thank you. And I think tomorrow we have seminar, so we can have some Q&A.